All right, so let's dive right in. The first thing we're going to talk about is how to determine probabilities using probability distribution histograms. And if you remember, a histogram is a type of bar graph. The difference between this and a bar graph is the fact that the bars are right next to each other. See, there's no gap in between them. And each bar represents a certain range of numbers. So for example, if I take a look here, this first bar represents the numbers between 4 and 8. Now, something to make note of for histograms, bars include the number on the left, or the smallest number, but they do not include the second number, or the biggest number. So for example, the numbers in this particular bar would include 4, 5, 6, and 7. 8 would be included in the next range. So this bar would be 8, 9, 10, 11, and so forth. Now, it's important to understand what these symbols mean when you are reading the problem. And so before we dive into the probability itself, I do want to talk about these symbols right here, your comparison symbols. Now, if you notice, they both are a less than symbol. However, one has a line underneath. So that means it's less than or equal to. So in other words, the range of number includes 8, but does not include 12. So that would be this range right here, or this bar. So what you're looking for is, what is the probability of X being between 8 and 12? And something to make note of, whenever you are using probability, they like to use this specific notation. Let me zoom in here. They will always write the problem using a big P, which stands for probability, and then whatever they want to happen in parentheses here. Now, let's go ahead and answer the question. Looking at this bar graph, or this histogram, we need to find the probability that X is between 8 and 12. Okay, the number of commercials. And that probability is 0.15. Now, if you're feeling good about finding probability, go ahead and press pause here and try number 2. I am going to show the answer to problem number 2 in about 5 seconds. Now, if you notice, you need to find the probability of this one, and this one. And what you're going to do is you're going to simply add those probabilities together, and you should have gotten 0.7. All right, so for the last one, it's asking, what is the value of the probability of X being less than 8, right? Less than 8, or X is greater than or equal to 20. So let's first find the probability of X being less than 8. That one is our easy one, because less than 8 is simply this bar here, which is 0.05. Then we're going to add that to the probability of X being greater than or equal to 20. Now, to find that, we need to figure out where X is greater than or equal to 20. So looking at my histogram, It's these two bars right here. So we have 0.30 plus 0.10. Adding that together, you get 0.4. If we add these together, we get 0.45. All right, so for the last little bit of this section, I do want to talk about the probability distributions and independent events. Independent events are events that happen or occur by themselves. So suppose you are using a probability distribution to find the likelihood of 2 independent events. In this case, you're going to find the probability of the first event, and you're going to multiply it. Okay, that's what that means, multiply, by the second event. That will calculate the probability of both the first event occurring and the second event occurring. So for example here, we're looking for what is the probability that at least 12, but fewer than 16 commercials were aired 2 weeks in a row. So dissecting this a bit, at least 12, that phrase at least, means that it can be 12 or greater than 12. So looking over here at our histogram, I am going to take a look at where my 12 is. So it can include 12, but it also is going to be greater than 12. Now, there's another thing that we need to know. Fewer than 16. And fewer than means strictly less than. So it cannot be 16. So it will be 12, 13, 14, 15. So this bar right here. So for week 1, the probability of that occurring is 0.2. The probability of it occurring the second week is once again 0.2. And to calculate the overall probability that it'll happen 2 weeks in a row, we multiply that together. And when we do that, we get 0.04. Thanks so much for watching this and going through this with me. Please don't hesitate to email me if you have any questions at all. I would love to work with you one-on-one. Good luck.